Hi, everybody. We are really happy to be here today.
And thanks, Torbjörn, for a really nice introduction. And thanks also to the organizers, Sahlgrenska Science Park, for giving us the opportunity to present here today at Park Annual. Now, 1928 Diagnostics develops a service for fast and effective diagnosis of infections. Infections caused by antibiotic-resistant bacteria. In 1928, scientist Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin. And since then, the lifespan of man has increased by 10 years. Later, Alexander Fleming received the Nobel Prize for the discovery of penicillin and its curative effect on infectious diseases. But already in his Nobel lecture, Alexander Fleming stated, "The time may come when penicillin can be bought by anyone in the shops. Then there is a danger that the ignorant man may easily underdose himself and thereby exposing his microbes to non-lethal quantities of the drug and make them resistant." Dear audience, this is where we are today. Antibiotic-resistant bacteria is a widespread global problem. It can affect people in any part of the world, in any country, and at any age. It can happen to you. The World Health Organization recently ranked antibiotic-resistant bacteria as 1 out of 3 major threats against humanity as today. We are about to enter a post-antibiotic era, when antibiotics can no longer be used for treatment, and a simple infection can be lethal. This slide illustrates the increased number of infections caused by antibiotic-resistant bacteria in Sweden between the year 2000 and until now. Resistant infections kills 48,000 people in EU and the US every year. 2.5 million resistant infections are diagnosed. And the related cost for the healthcare society and healthcare system is 135 billion Swedish crowns annually. And did you know that not since the 1980s, no new antibiotic treatments has been discovered? And that is why there is an urgent need for new and powerful ways to fight antibiotic-resistant bacteria.
So, we are delivering fast and efficient diagnosis of infections. Our service is fast. It takes 12 hours from sampling to treatment instead of 48 hours or more today. It's complete. You get a full resistance profile for every analysis, and it's universal. It works on all sample types. The result is that we will save costs. We will diminish spread of the antibiotic-resistant bacteria, and we will also reduce costs for the healthcare system. Imagine that you or your child was suffering from a life-threatening infection. Would you like to have the correct treatment in 12 hours or in 48 hours or more? 1 to 2% of all patients in a hospital is suffering from a bloodstream infection. And for newborns, these infections are the leading cause of death globally. For these patients, there is a race against the clock. For every hour, a patient with a bloodstream infection is waiting for the correct diagnosis. The risk of dying increases with 8%. Our service will also save costs for the hospital. I showed to you an example case here. If you have a normal E. coli infection, the patient stays in average 11 days at the hospital. With a resistant E. coli infection, the average stay is 24 days. These extra 13 days cost 250,000 crowns per patient. If we can reduce this extra time spent at the hospital by 30%, we will save 170 million crowns per year for Swedish hospitals. So what about diagnostics? Well, from the Fleming era until today, the same methods has been used to guide treatment. Traditional culturing. You simply culture the bacteria together with different types of antibiotics and see, does it survive? We want to take diagnostics into the future with modern DNA technology. Whole genome sequencing has revolutionized biology the last years. Today is fast and cheap to analyze the whole genetic code of an organism. And for a bacteria, it takes 2 hours and costs 1,000 crowns to get the complete genetic code. So these DNA sequencers, they exist at the hospitals. They are used, but only for research purposes, not for clinical routine. And why is that? Because it's hard to, in a fast and efficient way, interpret this huge data file to use it for clinical routine. So we are providing an automated bioinformatic analysis to unlock the power of whole genome sequencing. This is our service. It's an eHealth diagnostics, a software. As today, you take patient samples at the hospitals, you extract DNA and do sequencing at the bacteriology lab, then automatically the raw data file is uploaded to our service, where a series of specially adapted algorithms process this file and then run it through our unique database consisting of over 3,000 resistance patterns. After 15 minutes, the doctor or the lab personnel gets the result in the mobile phone, the tablet, or the computer. And this series of events take from sampling to treatment only 12 hours. The result states the type of bacteria, which antibiotics the bacteria is resistant to, and which antibiotics that can be used to treat the infection. So we will sell this service to clinical bacteriology labs. They will pay per analysis or by subscription. And the only thing they need is an internet connection. And it can be sold globally to any hospital. So, as Kristina said, this problem is huge, and it's global, and it's growing. That means the market is also very large. We will make our market entrance where the product is needed the most for bloodstream infections with a suspected resistance. We are looking at a market in the EU and US of 4 million tests, and this is worth 2 billion crowns, and this is per year. We will expand the market into suspected resistant in all sample types. Now we're looking at 13 million tests to a worth of 6.5 billion crowns. And finally, in the mature market, where every sample is run with our service, we have a market of 55 million tests with potential revenues of 27 billion crowns.
Susanne and I represent 1928 Diagnostics, and we are the management team. Susanne Staaf has more than 15 years' experience from drug discovery and development at AstraZeneca. Susanne has a PhD in medicinal biochemistry from KI, or Karolinska Institute. And Susanne is one of 3 co-founders of 1928. I'm Kristina Lagerstedt, and I've been working 15 years as a clinical researcher. I have a PhD in surgery from Sahlgrenska University Hospital of Gothenburg, and I'm also one of the co-founders of our company. Olof Sköld is chairman of the board. Olof has a broad commercial experience within medtech. Erik Kristiansson is an assistant professor at Chalmers University of Technology, where he runs a research group of 13 people. Eric has developed the key assets of our innovation, and he is also one of the 3 co-founders. And Susanne is also a board member, and you already know her. I would also like to take the opportunity to thank our collaborators, partners, and contributors, which are listed here on this slide. Thanks. No, wait! Thanks to collaborators and partners and so on. And soon I will thank you as well. But first, remember, 1928 Diagnostics developed a service for fast and efficient diagnosis of infections. And recently, we raised money. So we're happy to announce that we are currently recruiting new members to our team to accelerate product development. We are also looking for new collaborations and contacts outside Sweden to expand our network and to test our business models. So please, don't hesitate to come and talk to us after this session. So thanks, guys, for your attention, and see you afterwards in the lobby. Thanks.
Susanne, Staaf, thank you very much. We have time for some questions, and we have 2 mics going out here. But before, I can start with a question maybe. It's kind of a scary scenario that you paint for us, and so it looks like you can be able to slow down the resistance process, but is there a way back?
No, unfortunately, there is no way back. I mean, if you look just from the report that I mentioned from the World Health Organization, we are entering a post-antibiotic era. And those 10 years of increased lifespan of man that I talked to in the beginning, as a consequence, a positive result of the development of penicillin and so on, discovery, these 10 years will disappear within the next 30 years. So we need to, our service can also be available for monitoring the disease. And by using it for monitoring, it can fight the spread as well, because you can take control of the situation.
So any thoughts about how to, I'm looking for hands waving here. Do you have any? Then I have another question. So if you continue that, you can monitor, but do you think, what would be the next drug that would address this? You have no idea? Or?
Well, no one has any idea.
No?
No, unfortunately not. I mean, there are new antibiotics classes or new antibiotics. There are some compounds that can be used for inhibiting the resistant genes as a complement to those antibiotics that are available today, but no, unfortunately not.
But I think your tool might also be a way to start building new understanding on what's going on, not only monitoring.
It's also very important, I would say, if you have a resistant bacteria, you should maybe not treat the patient. That is also good. I mean, if you treat the patient with the wrong antibiotics, it makes it even worse, because you kill every bug in the body except this nasty bug. So it's very important to know if you have resistant bacteria.
Thank you. We have a question up here.
Yes, hello, my name is Richard Wolf. I'm from R2B of Sweden. We're based here in Gothenburg. I was wondering where in the business development you are. Have you a product ready to go to market, or are you still in the development phase, or have you products out in the market already?
No, we actually we have made a proof of concept on the product based on servers in Eric's research facilities. So now we're building a software-based product that is cloud-based. So we can do a more massive verification with our collaborators in the hospitals here in Sweden. So we are actually building the software right now.
But as far as you know, all the algorithms that you have are up and running, and you can diagnose all the different bacteria already?
We have the whole algorithm flow ready, the database, The first version of it is set, so it's just to build it together and get it out there in the clinic.
But as we yet know, hospitals are trying it. You're still in the lab, so to speak.
No, we have run the method on bacterial isolates, and we have set up a reference group of the largest or the best people in the area. So they represent 75% of the total sample flow in Sweden. So we have a really nice base in the customer field here. So we're really working tight with the customers.
Thank you. We have time for one last question up here.
It's a simple question. Bengtsson, Sagenska. What do you need?
What we need?
Yes.
Well, we need...
We need a few sequencers. We only have 2.
I thought you needed money.
Yeah,
Is that why you're standing here?
No.
How much?
Actually,
we will go for the next financial round. We plan to do that within the next 18 months or so. So, of course, we are interested. If you are interested in us, we will discuss this as well. Because now we have raised recently enough money to take the product development to the next level. But then we need more.
We're talking about needing more. You got some gifts here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Susanne and Kristina, thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thank you.